face it. Haven't you had a problem in your life that seems so unique, so mind-boggling that you just had to scratch your head and wonder to yourself, am I the only one who's dealing with this? Now, come on, admit it. You know you've been there. You've looked in that mirror and said, this has got to just be me. We all have. And weren't you so relieved when you realized that you weren't alone? I mean, think about that. Now, Lori wrote to me because after 18 years of marriage, she now thinks she may be a lesbian. Now, her husband David thinks it must be just a phase that she's going through. They both wonder if they're the only one in this kind of situation.
I'm 52 years old. I've been married for 18 years, and I'm just now beginning to wonder, am I gay?
Lori came home and then proceeded to tell me that she was having attractions for women.
I met a girl, and 3 months later I realized I was in love with her.
I was angry. I wasn't sure how to handle it.
I decided I should move in with my girlfriend. My husband doesn't believe I'm gay. He believes that this is just one of those phases. I don't find myself physically attracted to him anymore. Sexually, there's nothing there.
It would be hard for me to admit that she is gay. She swears that she does not want a divorce. She says she's confused and doesn't know really what she wants to do.
If David and I were to get back together, it would be more for the sake of appearances. The hardest part is dealing with the children. The idea that their mother could be gay is going to really shake them.
I always wish that things could just go back to normal.
I'd like to ask Dr. Phil, am I the only one in my community who's gay? And how do I tell my friends and family?
Okay, now, look, this is clearly a very important question and a very important situation for you and for you because you've been married 18 years. And this is your third marriage?
Yes, sir.
And you said you have two real big concerns. And what are they, just from your point of view?
Well, I don't want a failed marriage out of this. I married her with the intention of being, this is it. I don't want to spend the rest of my life alone. I'm 56 years old.
So you don't want a failed marriage and you don't want to spend the rest of your life alone.
That's right.
Your concerns are more about people's reactions, true?
True.
How do you feel about the impact that this could have and is having on your husband?
It's very difficult. I intended to stay married to David the rest of my life.
What makes you think you're gay?
I fell in love with a woman. I'm attracted to women, not to men.
And is this something that you've just acknowledged of late, or is this something you've been aware of much earlier in your life?
No, I was never attracted to women early in life. It's just something in the last few years that I've become aware of.
And how do you feel about it?
It terrifies me in one aspect because I live in a community where I'd be totally ostracized, basically. It's not an open community at all. And so I'm terrified of what it would do for me, the implications for my children.
So you've not shared this with your community?
No.
Okay. You do know you're on national television, right?
Yes.
Are you intending this to create that defining moment?
I know that it will.
Why did you want to be here with me?
Because I want help. I want to figure out, is this something, number one, am I alone in this? You know, are there other women out there struggling with this? How do I find support? Is there hope for my marriage?
Yeah, but why now? Why here? Why with me?
Because it's been 2 years that I've totally acknowledged it to David. We've struggled with it. I feel like we're both in limbo. We don't know, we can't continue with our marriage. I've moved out. We have to tell the children. The children know I moved out, but not the real reason. So it's all just very confusing.
And you seem more concerned about the judgments you will face than you do about the challenges that you first described about being a little in a foreign land. Is that a big deal to you, the judgments?
Oh, definitely so. I'm an active part of a church. I won't be allowed to be a member.
Okay, and I get that there is a huge controversy about that, but do you get that if this is not a phase, if this is your reality, do you get that you're not doing anything wrong?
No. I feel like I'm tearing apart my family. I feel like that is wrong.
Okay, but do you get that this is not a choice matter for you? This isn't just something that you just woke up and decided to switch teams?
I guess. It's hard to accept that.
Okay, so that's a no. If in fact she is gay, what do you want for her?
Well, I want her to be happy. It'd be silly to be married and be miserable and then end up living in two sides of the house and two separate lives. And I mean, I was like her. I was brought up, you know, this isn't, you just don't do this. But if she's making a choice, this is what she is and this is where she's going to live her life.
Okay, but if she is in fact gay, that's not a choice. It would be like me asking you to choose to be gay when you're not. Could you make that choice?
No, I'm just not.
Yeah, that's right. You just couldn't make that choice.
Correct.
Because you're heterosexual.
Absolutely.
And you could understand if she's gay, to make the choice not to be would be like me asking you to be.
Okay.
Just think about that for a second. If this is a reality, how does Lori explain the situation to her children? How do you deal with the judgments and the controversy? We're going to talk about that when we come back, and I have an expert here that deals with these precise questions day to day. It's going to help out when we get back.
In my area, homosexuality is not tolerated at all. Homosexuals are shunned. The gay community is very much underground. The idea of me being gay and coming out terrifies me.
Well, today we're answering the questions we've all felt at one point or another when dealing with a particular problem. Am I the only one? And if you're having a problem, something that particularly that scares you and you feel like you're the only one that's in this, that can be such a lonely feeling. Now, I'm talking to Lori and her husband, David. They've been married for 18 years, love each other, no question about that. But now Lori is questioning her sexuality, and David is questioning whether or not this is a marriage that can be saved, should be saved. How can she have been married for 18 years if, in fact, this is her position? I want to bring someone else into the conversation. Dr. Michelle Angelo is a psychotherapist and sexologist. So, Dr. Angelo, thank you for being here again. What is the answer to some of Lori's questions here? Because you deal with this in your practice every single day.
You touched on it at the beginning, which is that your age is actually a pretty typical age for someone, if they are going to come out later in life, for them to in fact do that for a couple of reasons. The first is that as women in this society, we're basically encouraged to suppress any kind of personal sexual feelings. And so there's this assumption of heterosexuality. It often takes a level of maturity before you can actually discover that in yourself, that, you know, I may not want to perpetuate this assumption of heterosexuality in my world. I might not feel like I can do that because it's not genuinely who I am. Another thing is, again, the stage of life that you're in is the perfect stage from a developmental perspective of really reflecting back and saying, have I lived the optimal, authentic life? And if I haven't, and on every level, not just your sexual orientation, what can I do differently so that I can move ahead with the second half of my life and be truly the genuine person I want to be?
I guess one of the questions or challenges is, the first thing she says, is this a phase? Where do you come down on that issue?
It's a tough one because I'm with you in the sense that I'm doubtful it's a phase, though I certainly can appreciate the fact that I know lots of people who say, I just fell in love with the person. And in your case, happened to be another woman. So might it shift? Because yes, I do think we all have the potential for some fluidity or some ability to shift throughout our lives. It might, but the fact that you've been open to it means that there's always that potential. And so it doesn't mean that you wouldn't potentially fall in love with a man again, or you might fall in love with a woman again. But there isn't this static, just this is who I am for the rest of my life, perhaps in your case.
So you fell in love with a woman while you were still living together,
Yes.
and then you moved out on your own. Are you continuing that relationship?
Yes.
And is that working for you?
Yes.
I mean, are you happy in that relationship? Does it feel right to you?
The relationship feels fine when we're alone together. Can't actually be out open in the community, though.
Okay, so you don't go to dinner or out in a way that you would be a couple?
No.
Okay, so this is an issue about judgment for you hugely at this point.
Hugely.
Are you doubting whether you can deal with the judgment, or are you doubting whether you're gay?
Both.
The first thing that I'd suggest, if you were my client, is for us to really take a hard look at that internalized homophobia that you're walking around with, because that's going to keep you stuck just indefinitely if you don't try to release some of that. And that's really going to be about then, the second step is looking at your level of resilience. Are you resilient enough to be able to? And can you surround yourself in whatever way? And that can mean the internet, that can mean support groups, however you find them. Are you resilient enough then to say, I'll deal with the fallout of this?
The one person Lori really needs to be honest with when we come back. What makes you think you're gay?
I fell in love with a woman.
Are you doubting whether you can deal with the judgment, or are you doubting whether you're gay?
Both.
Well, the first thing she says, is this a phase?
I'm doubtful it's a phase. The fact that you've been open to it means that there's always that potential.
Dr. Angelo and I were talking earlier, and when I was in private practice, I dealt with a young man that had discovered that he was gay. And the biggest challenge that I faced then was getting him to come out to himself. He felt shame and he felt guilt, and he was in denial one day and not the next. And there's a difference between acknowledging it and accepting it. Acknowledging it is like, wow, there's something going on here and I cannot deny these are powerful feelings, and therefore a same-sexed object of my affection. That's one thing to acknowledge that. It's another thing to accept that and say, not only is that who I am, but I'm okay with who I am. And at this point, you're kind of at the acknowledgement step, but you're not anywhere near the acceptance step, right? Mm-hmm. If in fact you have come to this realization, to deny that and live in a heterosexual relationship would be very painful to you, would be very uncomfortable for you. And that's how it appears to you at this point. True? I mean, you would feel inauthentic at this point.
Oh, yes.
Okay? Although you've not been inauthentic in the 18 years that you've been there. I mean, you wanted to be there, you were invested in this. So, I mean, in talking to your children, I think it's important for them to know that you've not been living a lie, but that in the evolution of your life, this is where you've come to. But you have to be true to who you are. If she's gay, there's nothing you can do. You can't be a better husband, you can't be more charming, you can be a better friend, and you guys can love each other and support each other and be there for each other. But that's not, as I said, there's good news and bad news.
Yes.
The good news is this is not a reaction to you. The bad news is this is not a reaction to you. And that's bad news because it means there's nothing you can change to fix this. This doesn't have anything to do with him, does it? No. And that's where you have to deal with this yourself. Why here, why now? I mean, you came here knowing this was a public forum, but your number one concern is judgment. So once this airs, that's out there. What was your thought process in, and I don't disagree with you, I'm just saying, what was your thought process in using that forum for this to become public? Are you burning your bridges behind you here? What is this?
Probably. I guess maybe I feel like it's time. and I can just get it over all at once.
Well, this will get it over all at once.
Dr. Phil, I was thinking that this is, though it's going to be painful to get it all over at once and probably flip both of your worlds upside down temporarily, it's like ripping the Band-Aid off quickly, because what you've been doing for the last couple of years is just slowly peeling it away, and I would imagine that open wound is pretty painful at this point.
How do you want people to take it?
I would like people to just accept that's who I am and want me to be happy.
But you haven't accepted that.
No.
You think that there's something wrong with you. Have you sought help for that? Have you thought, I'm confused, I'm not gay, I'm confused, I need clarity? Have you sought counsel for that?
Yeah, I have seen a therapist, and I actually went to a workshop for married women who are trying to figure out if they're gay or not. Mm-hmm. I walked away from that on a high, ready to say, oh yes, I'm ready to tell the world I'm gay. But then you come back to the real world, and I start wavering.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't have to be in a gay rights parade. I mean, right? I mean, you don't need to be.
The other thing to remember, and this may muddy the waters or it might clarify things, is that there aren't just two orientations. And so it's not as though, well, I'm not straight, therefore I must be a lesbian. That's not the case for a lot of people.
What do you think about all this discussion? You're not liking the way all this is going.
It's how I felt things would be. I still think we're coming to the time when, I mean, it's been hanging in limbo for 2 years. Our lives are still going on. Our children are out there. We're expecting grandchildren for the first time. And it's just hanging. So, yeah, we talked about this earlier. I said, when she was having doubts about, she wanted to turn and run earlier. And I'm saying, well, we're here. And the only thing this is really going to do is it's going to tell people what's going on. Whether they all watch the show or not, it's going to get out there. It's going to happen.
Listen, there are in the world a lot of homophobic people. And they will look askance at this. And you have to make the decision, am I going to live my life to please people I don't know or certainly don't live in my house, or am I going to live my life to be true to my own heart? And those people that judge you, they go home at the end of the day, and you go home at the end of the day, and you live with your choices and they live with theirs. But the person you need to get at peace with about this is yourself. And I'm more than happy with Dr. Angelo's help to find that professional that can help you navigate these waters and help you guys navigate things with the children and with each other. If this is where she is, then that's where you need her to be.
That's right.
If it's not, then that will work out and you guys will work on the marriage and get things where they need to be. So the reality is going to play out.
Right.
And that's not a choice. It's not a switch that you flip. We can't fix you. You can't say, well, she's got this confusion, you need to fix that. It either is or it isn't, and that will come true across time. I mean, do you agree, Dr. Angelo?
I do agree, and I also think, David, that I'd like to be certain that you recognize you have a lot of power here, because it probably feels as though you're kind of powerless, that your wife is figuring this out, so to speak, and that you may potentially end up with a third divorce, which sounds like that's obviously triggering one of your biggest fears. But in fact, as challenging as this is, and I certainly am not trying to minimize how painful it is, but as challenging as it is, if you can start recognizing your own power in this situation, which is essentially, look, I'm not going to do this anymore, figure it out or don't, but I'm going to start working on myself and figuring out what makes me happy as a human being, then perhaps things will continue to evolve, because it's obvious that the two of you love each other and care about each other deeply. And sometimes, unfortunately, that can keep you stuck in, well, we'll just keep doing the status quo because it sort of kind of works out and it's a little bit less painful, so we'll do it, when in fact neither of you then are able to live as authentically as you'd like.
Look, if you're gay and you stay married, that just kind of says that being gay is all about sex. And it's so much more than that, right? I mean, it's a very emotional thing for you. It's just not that one-dimensional. Well, this is a lot of food for thought, right?
Oh, yes.
And the issue is you got to resolve with yourself that you either accept this about yourself or you don't. And if, in fact, this just passes and it is a phase, then you two will work diligently, I'm sure, to resolve the other. And if it's not, and I think it's not, then that's the reality. And the sooner you deal with that, you say it's been 2 years, let's deal with it, right?
That's what we're doing right now.
Well, you certainly are. All right. Okay. Up next, she loves being disturbed, shocked, and disgusted by gory movies. Is she the only one? We're going to talk to her and her concerned mom. I got an email from 21-year-old Sarah who says she loves bloody, gory, utterly terrifying movies. Now, her mother, Katie, can't understand why she would watch blood-splattering movies without even flinching.
Hi, Dr. Phil. I have a daughter named Sarah. She's 21, and she is just really into gory, bloody, disturbing movies.
I watch a lot of hardcore shock movies, a lot of shockumentaries.
It's just twisted.
As you can see, the stuff I watch is extremely gory and disgusting.
Oh, God, no. Turn it off. Turn it off.
I'm so obsessed with this stuff, and I love watching it. I don't understand. I don't know if I'm like psychotic in the head or not.
She's beautiful. She's sweet. She has goals.
I have a really strong stomach, so I'd probably be best in the medical career because I can actually like watch autopsies and eat.
Is it just me? Am I the only one who has a daughter who watches these disturbing, gory movies?
Nothing grosses you out.
Not really.
So cutting people up, splattering people, that it doesn't bother you in the least?
No, I watch movies that have even been banned in some countries.
Really? And you have on razor blade earrings.
They're not real razor blades.
That's good. Okay. But you don't do any of this stuff, right?
Oh, Lord, no.
You're not like some creepy, freaky,
No.
out torturing.
I like Hello Kitty. No, I'm fine.
So you like Hello Kitty?
I do.
Would it bother you to see some bad result fall to Hello Kitty?
I'd be horrified.
Okay, all right. Well, no, that you see what I'm saying? That she crosses a line and says, no, if it's somebody I love and care about, I wouldn't like that. But look, you always commented when she was growing up that she was different, right?
Yeah.
And she was different in what way?
She's just always walked to her own drive.
There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, everybody has different taste. I mean, you look at people like Stephen King and Spielberg and some of these people that do these kind of way out sort of things. It's a very creative thing. I suspect for you that you were always walking to the beat of your own drummer and you thought that was unique about her. You've just kind of kept pushing the bar up further, a little further, and a little further, and a little further to maintain that uniqueness. And it seems to have manifest itself in this way. But here's the thing. I got two problems with this and one thing that's okay. The okay is you're not doing anything that is inappropriate. You're not being at risk or doing dangerous things for a thrill, right?
Right.
The two things that bother me is, unfortunately, a lot of people who get really into this in an obsessive way are not necessarily the most productive folks. You got to be careful because your mom had commented that you don't always bring home people that are not losers. They don't have like jobs or showers or things like that, right?
Yes.
You said some of them are kind of dirty and lazy.
Dirty and
and
smelly and gross and
what is up with that? That's got nothing to do with gore.
Yeah, because she's beautiful.
So what is up with that?
I don't know. I mean, I usually don't pay attention to if they don't smell like overly bad, like I'm not just sitting there like, oh God, you got a shower. I'm not bad, it's okay. I mean, I don't go over to somebody and go, okay, you're not my friend.
You know, that is a bit of a self-esteem issue. I mean, seriously, if you have good self-esteem and you're well-groomed and productive in life and pursuing goals and, you know, progressing along in life, you would kind of think that you would want to be with people that shared that pace, that cadence to life with you. Ask yourself, is this a person that's inconsistent with my level of self-esteem? Should I be willing to settle for this? And the answer is no. I mean, anybody can stay clean, right?
Yeah.
Anybody can put on clean clothes, however tattered they may be. They can take a shower, however poor they may be. And if you're not at least holding folks to that standard, then that's not good. So think about that. That's the thing to focus on, is the self-esteem issue. The other thing, it'll come and go.
Okay.
It'll come and go. She likes Hello Kitty. All right, up next, she feels like nobody takes her seriously because of her looks and wonders, is she the only one? We'll be right back. Well, today we're talking about the problems in life that make you shrug your shoulders and ask yourself, am I the only one? Now, Lynda says that she has a master's degree in marriage and family therapy, but can only find jobs modeling. She feels she isn't taken seriously and only judged by the way she looks.
Dr. Phil, I went to school for 6 years. I want to be a therapist. I have a master's degree, but I can only find jobs modeling. Am I the only one who's never taken seriously and just for the way I look? Like, here's this big boob bimbo walking in the room. Like, I'm not educated. Come on. I'm tired of getting judged before people even know me. People see me and they say, well, why don't you go do a beer commercial? Or why don't you go work at Hooters?
Looks only get you so far. And then after that, people start judging you and they start treating you like, who is this dumb girl? And that's what I don't like. That's what I don't appreciate. And after a while, when everything is gone, what's left? So that's why I went to school. That's why I got my master's degree.
I believe I've applied to 200 plus jobs. I've even taken my resume and hand delivered it. I find myself sending it over and over again, almost becoming a stalker with some of these people because I'm calling them umpteen times.
Hi there. I was following up on the marriage and family therapist intern position.
Between looking for the modeling jobs and looking for the therapy jobs, modeling always wins out. You go to these casting calls, they say they love you, they never call you back. Or you go to these casting calls and they're crude, they're rude, and they basically say, you're not good enough, please leave, and you're just a dime a dozen. That part right there is what plays with your self-esteem. My boyfriend works to support myself and my son. He's not always crazy about the modeling because it's lingerie and it's bikini. He has friends that say, hey dude, we saw your girl in a magazine and she looks hot. He wants it to be private and behind closed doors. Dr. Phil, am I the only one that went to school as a therapist but can only get jobs modeling?
Okay, well, this one's kind of up my alley from the psychological side of this. So what have you done to prepare yourself to actually work as a therapist besides your education? Did you do an internship?
I did.
Did you do a residency program somewhere?
I did.
And where did you do it and for how
Everything was where I'm from, which is north of here.
Yep.
And so when I moved here, the networking just went out the window. I didn't know anybody.
Okay,
I didn't know any of the...
Did you work at a hospital?
I did. I worked at a hospital for 2 years.
Uh-huh. And what kind of recommendations and references did you get from that job?
See, that's the thing. I have great recommendations, great references. Every job I've ever been at, I leave with people saying great things about me. So when I send my resume, I accompany them with the recommendations.
I understand, Chris saying that he has a problem with the modeling side of it. We can talk about that in a minute. But are you competitive on the other fronts, or is this just an easy excuse that, well, I'm just too pretty and I'm a model, and they think that's... And let me tell you, there are women who would not want to send their husband to you as a therapist. You know that. They just say, no, don't think so.
That's what the running joke is. You're going to have a line out the door because all these men you're going to have, male 30-year-olds lining up at your door. I don't want that.
Right.
Nobody takes me seriously. The women I go and I interview with, they're almost rude to me.
So what do you think's going on?
I don't know. I mean, she just doesn't get the calls back. Nobody calls her back, or she's a member of a couple of the organizations in the area, and she's done a lot of the networking. And what I have noticed, I mean, some people have called her and offered to be more like a mentor, but they're men, and they offer a little more help than would be normal.
Meet me for dinner, or hey, here's my private number, call me. And then I'm right back going, are they really helping me because they want to help me? Or are they helping me because they have a hidden agenda?
You do need to stalk people if you want a job in that regard. And you need to show up and you need to tell them, here's what I can do for you today. This stuff about, here's my resume, here's my training, this, that, that's necessary but not sufficient. You got to be there and say, here's what I can do for you starting today. And the truth is that the number one characteristic of a good therapist is a broad base of personal experiences. So you have a good experiences here. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You're saying modeling? Look, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just part of a broad base of experience that you have. So I wouldn't hide that in any way. So I think you need to start networking. If you have to, volunteer. Volunteer at a hospital, volunteer at a hotline, volunteer at a women's crisis center or battered women's shelter, whatever. Volunteer. Get inside the system and work it from the inside out instead of on the outside trying to get in. You say, well, I can't afford to work for free. I need a job. You don't have a job now. At least you're making contact. They've got to see you in action because it's kind of hard to flex your therapist muscles if you're not in the game doing something, and then you work alongside somebody, it will help. And a volunteer position then becomes an intern position. Intern position then becomes a paid position. In a paid position, then you start to be able to do what you want to do. So, but you can't just sit on the sidelines and say, well, I'm too pretty. There will be some people that resent the way you look, but you will get past that when people start seeing you working with these kids or these women. You got to get inside the system and start doing something. We'll be right back. A couple of weeks ago, one of my staffers came to me because he wanted to know if he was the only one who was so afraid of the dentist that he's put off fixing his teeth for 1.5 years.
I hate going to the dentist, and I will do whatever it takes to avoid another appointment. We got a cracked front crown, which means that I have to get both my front teeth replaced yet again, which will be my 6th set of new front teeth. Just the thought makes my skin crawl.
Okay, now you don't like the dentist.
Not at all. First of all, I get really anxious, and then I don't like the frustration. It's never just one appointment. You end up having to go back and forth.
I've found the solution to this. I have found the dentist. This guy, Dr. Barrett, is a Los Angeles-based dentist. All right, he says he gets a lot of patients who fear going to the dentist because of these multiple appointments it takes to get all the work done. There is a new technology that has changed my whole attitude about dentistry. It requires one visit to the dentist. Take a look at this.
When people go to the dentist, they have phobias. CAD/CAM eases the pain of being in a dental chair because the patients don't have a second visit, and they know that. They're thinking about that. So all in all, it relieves anxiety. We take a digital impression, no goopy impressions, then we put it in a 3-dimensional computer. We design it, we mill it or make it, we try it in, glaze it, and we bond it. It's that simple.
All right, Leslie, you're all set. That was fast.
So how was your experience with Dr. Barrett before we talk to the good doctor?
Dr. Barrett's amazing. There was no pain, it was fast, and I'm done, and I don't have to go back.
This is a computer system that basically engineers the tooth, right?
Right, this is a CEREC system. If you're interested, you could actually go to findacerecdentist.com.
And what they do is you actually make the crown or the tooth in the office at the time, right?
At the time. We take away the lab. The only reason there's 2 weeks is because we have to send it to a lab. We take goopy impressions, we put temporaries on, and we send it to a lab. He has to let it harden, and he's got to make it, and that time is about 2 weeks.
So the bottom line is this. Like, if we send Michael over there and he has to crown 2 teeth, you take pictures of them and map them out with this computer.
Right.
Then that computer talks to this thing.
Right.
Which builds up what you actually put in the mouth. Because you did it with me in like 30 minutes. I never had a time to get mad or anxious or whatever.
No, couldn't get mad.
If we send, will you go?
Yeah, okay. I mean, maybe I'll give it a try.
No, you have to trust me on this. I've done this. Will you go?
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'll go.
Okay, because they not only do this technology, but they really take care of you while you're there, and we'll see what happens, and we'll do part 2 of this story. Well, before Michael went to see Dr. Barrett, I sat him down with Dr. Frank Lawless to learn some relaxation techniques.
Okay, Michael, you need to learn how to relax. There are 3 very good strategies for doing that. First way is through smell. You can get hibiscus or anything that gets your attention. The other approach is to learn how to breathe. Breathe out through your mouth. Let go. Another approach is to listen to relaxation instructions. This is a CD that I made. It's general relaxation.
And all 3 of those, I'll be golden?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank
All
you,
right.
Dr. Lawless.
All right.
I'm here at Dr. Barrett's office, and I am prepared to go ahead and do Dr. Lawless's relaxation techniques. Breathe in, breathe out, and just sort of relaxes me.
Michael, come on back.
Okay.
Ready? All right. We'll get these 2 teeth done today.
Okay.
And you'll be out of here.
Great.
You'll be okay.
Oh, wow.
All right, Michael. Big smile.
Oh, wow. They look amazing. The process is a whole lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I'm really happy with the results.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.